What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Corner Podcast. Gail Dansby here with producer Cole, which he's the only Cole
Yes,
letting his voice be known on WrestleMania weekend. So
that's
you
true.
you let it be known that the real Cole, baby, is
Yeah.
still here for you.
I
The other
mean,
one,
there's another one.
barely,
Yeah.
barely. I don't
What?
see him on TV. I don't see him around.
I got
You
two
are
feet that
the
can walk.
real, the real Cole, baby. The other guy may be the devil, but he has nothing on you. I would pay good money to see you and him though put together like the Vince McMahon,
Uh,
you know, this is God versus Shawn Michaels angle.
yeah. I mean, but
Look, you got a
also,
white sweater on, your background's illuminating behind you.
ooh, I just, I ascend or I
Yeah,
descend from the
descend.
heavens to come down. That's still like my all-time, probably my all-time favorite entrance, by the way, is that one.
Really?
I think it's so underrated. It's so cool. Granted, Sean's also, I mean, he had the, wow, what a ride. Like he had that entrance, but I don't know. There's just something about that. Probably because also like that match is just like, it's
Yeah.
like an eternal.
There's so many good WrestleMania entrances that I
Yeah.
never really thought about it. We never really had that question on the show. What is my favorite WrestleMania entrance?
You could definitely argue that there's like better ones, but that to me is definitely like a
Yeah,
personal
just like
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's Nakamura, and I understand the match ended up being shit, and it just ended up being a low blow, and it sucked. But Nakamura's entrance coming out versus AJ Styles when he had the violin and everyone like it was peak Nakamura. That's as close as I was gonna get to Tokyo Dome Nakamura,
Right.
full Michael Jackson garb, crown, like that entrance sticks out to me.
Entire crowd singing the theme.
Yeah, I wish the Fiend would have got a real entrance. Instead, they just put his ass out there in a box.
Yeah,
But
he
that
just
Fiend entrance was
showed up
fucking
in a gift
phenomenal.
box.
Fiend has my favorite, and I not just because Bray Wyatt passed away. He has my favorite SummerSlam entrance. Up when he debuted against Finn Balor, and no one had ever seen the Fiend, and it's the first time he comes out. That shit's and his Bray Wyatt's head as the lantern. That shit's incredible.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Mania, yeah, knock. That's so recent. Young me would say it's just Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan, title versus title, and he hits the sprints of
Full
all
sprint.
sprints because that shit is long.
He does the absolute opposite of Roman Reigns Undertaker entrances.
Yes.
Instead of walking even slower on the long path, that man is quick fast.
You know what? We should do that just for TikTok. I should put it together. How many Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania entrances can we fit within one Roman Reigns WrestleMania? And you just loop it, just Ultimate Warrior, just going over and over. Roman taking his time, you just loop it and just have a counter. 1, 2, 3.
You do it with
Could probably fit
Undertaker.
like
Oh
40.
man.
Probably fit at
Oh
least 40. Oh,
man.
Taker had some good ones too. I think he had a Ministry of Darkness one that was really good. But I
Yeah.
need like full hair Taker. Once he went to like Mohawk, shaved
Right.
head, like that wasn't my shit. But yeah, I mean, fuck. If I go wild and go like Giant Gonzalez,
Oh
like
God.
came out with the fur shoulders. There was, yeah, Sean's up there
I mean,
with a couple of them.
Cena's had quite a few really good ones.
With the multiple Cenas, a lot of people
Yeah,
love that multiple Cena
that
one.
one's pretty good.
Trips, obviously.
Bianca's last year was amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Bianca's with, even though the little girl story is amazing and they kicked ass, but Bianca with the band
with
was
the
really
band
good.
was awesome too.
HBCU band was great.
Yes.
That's up there. Yeah, honest. Last year, Dominic Mysterio, Dirty
Yes.
Dom coming out
Coming
handcuffed
out
with
in
the
the
Rey Mysterio
van.
mask,
Yeah, that was really
and
good.
and we'll talk about like some of. I'll reiterate some of my fantasy booking for this year, and then we're going to talk about the fallout and where we lead. That entrance directly correlates to one of my
And for
predictions.
those listening, understand that when Dre's not here and Kel and I, particularly Kel, start fantasy booking, some weird things begin to happen and they actually begin to manifest themselves into reality.
They don't
So
know. I
buckle
wrote
up.
all of Dirty Dom's story. I wrote the whole thing
Dirty Tom's story, especially getting the North American title right here on this podcast.
right
Right here.
here. You and I.
You're in the right spot. Magic happens here when it's the two of us, and the wildest shit happens. So that's why I've got a whole bunch of wild shit ready to talk about here. And
I
I'm
love it.
interested to see your reactions to it.
I
I'm
love
sure
it.
it's going to piss people off. But you know what? It's go big or go home. Why predict boring shit? You know?
That's what we're here for, Cole. All right, let's see. So we're gonna start with let's run through NXT real quick because I want to hear your
Stand
wild hot take.
and deliver.
Stand and deliver NXT 7 matches. NXT's really good. What else is
Yeah.
there to say? Like it's been really good. This is one of those times where the television is back to where it needs to be and entertaining. NXT premium live events or pay-per-views or whatever specials, they have to get back to the level where they once were because the television has gotten back and it's as good as it was in the heyday that we remember and the storylines and everything. But what really made it stand out back there, much like AEW was, once you get to the pay-per-view, you're in for it. Like you're getting a banger A plus, A minus, maybe at worst a B plus pay-per-view every single time. They have to get back to that level. So we'll see if they deliver like that here. First match, Sean Spears versus Joe Gacy.
Joe Casey is just doing his best mankind impression, really, of just like, I'm gonna go out there and just get the shit kicked out of me and smile the whole time.
I like it. I like his character. I think he
It's
works
bet
better than most
it is
people think.
better than whatever he was doing before. So
Yeah.
we've stopped the occult stuff. We're going away from that. Now he's just a crazy man
I
who
don't
just
mind
gets
the
the
cult stuff, by the way.
who just gets the shit kicked out of him
Yeah.
every
I
night.
and again, I understand we just lost Bray and all that stuff, and I haven't watched the documentary yet. I'll probably watch that today. Um, but it's one of those things where if they bring Uncle Howdy back, I get it, but it's not Bray and it's very closely tied. So maybe
Mhm.
they'll do like some paranormal stuff with that and write it and it might be okay. But I think WWE is ripe for a next like scary paranormal dude. So like the
I
cult
don't think
stuff
it
didn't
yeah
work,
it didn't
but
so I don't that's why I don't think you can necessarily go back to it with him in particular, but maybe there's another faction that kind of works with it, but I don't know.
yeah, like but Gacy as a guy, just give me be that new weird guy. Even
Sure.
if you're not scary, just be weird. Like I don't, you don't have to be cold because we saw that with the Wyatt family, and it's very hard
Yes.
to top cult leader Bray. Like it's a hot take number one of this
Uh-oh.
show.
Here we go.
It is harder to duplicate a Bray Wyatt cult leader gimmick than it is to duplicate a scary Undertaker gimmick.
Sure.
Bray did that gimmick so much better than anyone can.
And well, and both of them were kind of like Undertaker's was always of kind of the time, right?
Yeah,
Like we all kind of accepted it in today's day and age because he was able to get that over back in the
yeah,
day when that was much more of a normal thing when WWE was coming up with all these zany characters. He got that so over, and then of course there's the alternate gimmicks within the gimmick, right? Because
yeah.
then you have Badass Taker, you have Biker Taker, and all that. Um, so where like Bray's faction worked is that there was kind of like there was an aura and a mystique about them where there was like like the promos were smart in that they were actually like mysterious and foreboding,
Yep.
and it wasn't like based off like this kind of cartoonish idea of like, oh, I'm the Undertaker, I came back from the dead. Like it's not that, right? It was something that was kind of
Death Valley.
it was right. It was constructed in reality. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, these are crazy people from the swamp. This is like
Yeah.
we're getting Texas Chainsaw Massacre like kind of level here.
Yeah.
So like where it's like enough based in reality where you can kind of get that. So but I think at least like Gacy is doing the weird thing, right? I think to your point. So, and I think this is working better than what was going on
Yeah.
before. So,
I thought he was good. The faction just didn't really work.
sure.
It didn't seem like
And
everybody
also
else
it's gotten
wanted to be
nerfed
there.
and it's gotten nerfed every week.
Yeah. I mean, he's still getting nerfed, but in a good way.
But
And
now he's like using it as like a device of like, oh, that's part of my character as I get
yeah,
nerfed. Like that's working. And now he's going to be facing off against let me stare off aimlessly into space while I hold a chair, Sean Spears.
I was a big Ty Dillinger guy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
10, that
Not
I
so much
was
the
that
chairman.
guy. I am not a chairman guy.
Yeah.
And bringing him back with his real name, I get it, but I don't get it because
Sure.
it's okay if you elevated your name where you were gone and then you want to bring someone back in. Like Matt Cardona
Would come back as Matt Cardona.
as Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
Like I don't need
As he says, Zack
Zack
Ryder's
Ryder.
dead.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Right.
Just building this storyline. I don't care. Zack Ryder's dead. Matt Cardona's coming back. He's elevated himself off of that name. Sean Spears did not. He took a clear step backwards with that name. He added nothing besides his chair gimmick, which isn't as good as the Ty Dillinger gimmick. Like the perfect 10 Ty Dillinger is so much better. You can just give him an edge, but call him Ty Dillinger again. It made more sense. And
Yeah.
especially coming back to NXT. If he went to the main roster, maybe. But NXT is where Ty Dillinger really thrived.
Sure.
And I think the pop would have been bigger. The music, bringing back that music and everything with a 10, even a menacing 10. You could have started off with the goofy countdown and lights and then just darkened everything
Yeah.
and made them like a menacing, Orange Cassidy pulls off like I don't give a fuck the best, but you just like walk out and then instead of like all the hoopla, he'll count down and then 10 hits and he's just like, just a cool ass,
Yeah.
calm 10 and then keep it moving. Like Ty Dillinger was just a better gimmick. So for that
Yeah.
reason, Joe Gacy finally wins.
Yeah. Give Joe Casey a win. He needs one.
Yeah, Sean Spears, I don't give a fuck about him winning right now.
I mean, yeah, I think he could still figure in the 10 into the gimmick, but yeah, he's got a, yeah, I agree.
Then 6-woman tag team match.
Uh-huh.
This is probably going to knock down that overall rating of this pay-per-view, but they have a lot of talented women. Sean, his explore page is exploring because he's getting them from all ends of the earth. And the only way for them to get better is to get time on platforms like this.
Yeah, I will say my favorite part about all of this was when they announced the match and Thea Hale was doing the Rock mono arm. Like that shit popped. But I was amazing. And like they've all had a decent story going. So like I don't mind that this match here is on the card. I agree with you. Like they need some way to just keep all the other women kind of going while they have Valkyria and Roxanne as as doing the champ stuff. So yeah, I think the faces win. I think they kind of are due a win at this point.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think you'll probably see this one come on after the kickoff show match and kind of get the card going.
Yeah. Hopefully they open. You don't want to sandwich
Yeah.
this in the wrong
No,
spot.
no. Don't sandwich it. Yeah.
Don't want that bathroom.
AEW would sandwich this. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't bathroom break this match.
Ooh.
And then Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. It's a tough one to pick, kind of, because Axiom and Nathan Frazier are going to give good moves, but they're not really a tag team. Like they were
Right.
just kind of like just put together. But I think it's time for Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker to go to the main roster.
Right. And that's really where this kind of comes down to,
Yeah.
right? It's like if they lose, it's a clear sign that they're going back up. And I would agree with you. I think they both have to go up together. At this point, they're so kind of entwined and they're both helping each other out so much that I think it makes sense to bring the whole team up. It doesn't just have to be, I feel like we've been asking for years. When does Braun break? When's the moment? When do you pull the trigger on Braun Breaker? When does he come up? But now it kind of makes sense to do them together. So I don't know. I could see this as a title change. But at the same time, I don't know if this is the team that they would necessarily want to be beat by. I kind of wish you would have like an actual squad that would kind of come down and beat him. So maybe they win it here and then maybe on the NXT, either the following NXT or the NXT after that, they drop the tag titles. I think they drop them on TV and then they'll go up.
You need a real team.
Yeah.
Like the Creed brothers went up too early.
Right.
They're not even in this ladder match. Like, so that was like kind of a weird call up. And they could heat them up, but it's still like they'd be better in a faction. Um, I've always said the Creed brothers and Braun Breaker are made to be in a faction together
Yeah.
because it
Big
screams
buff guys out of the gym,
that's it,
lifting
singlets,
weights, wearing
just
singlets, kicking
crushing
ass.
shit. Yeah, it's what they had with Kurt Angle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and those guys. It makes sense, and it establishes Braun Breaker as something more than just a wildly athletic guy. And that's a faction that can have a mouthpiece, that can have a manager. You're really building off of something if you put those guys
Team up with
together.
Alpha Academy and just have all singlets.
That's it. All the singlets.
All
One
singlets.
faction.
You wear a singlet, this is your spot right here.
What?
We're
Do
taking
you know?
over.
Do you know the merch? With just t-shirts with singlets on the t-shirts? Oh, all singlets. AS.
We're all
AS
gym
logo.
rats.
That's it. Instead of all stars, but it's AS and a star, but it's all
Yes.
singlets.
We've invented the
Just
faction. This is it.
singlets on
And then
t-shirts.
it's all about just getting people who shouldn't be in a singlet, and bada bang, you got I mean, it's perfect.
The giant Omos just in a singlet. Just oh, the crowd would be chanting, singlet, singlet, singlet.
Then you can have singlet matches. The loser has to put on a singlet.
I love it. That's the gimmick. Everyone they beat, they have to wear a singlet.
I mean, it's kind of like an evolution of Alpha Academy. It's like the jacket. It's the same thing.
That's it.
It's just better.
I like it. That's hot take number 2. we're keeping it counted.
We're getting this shit wild. There's probably a bunch of people rolling their eyes, being like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Someone's gonna add a hot take counter to this. We're going, and then baby faces win the women's match. Corbin and Braun Breaker. I think you sold me on it. When the tag match, then we have Valkyrie versus Roxanne Perez. Valkyrie retains just because Roxanne Perez has had the belt before. She's doing great things. I just don't know if this is a farewell match or I'm getting another run match. And I'm leading towards this is, again, another, I've done my stuff here. It's time for new women to kind of take the ball and run with it. See if I can sink or swim on the main roster. And I think Roxanne Perez moves up another, and we'll go to this. Raw After Mania call up from NXT. And me and Dre went through this earlier in the week. The roster on Raw is thin in terms of women's roster is thin. So she'll get a chance if they move her up to Raw. Yeah. No one else is coming up. Tiffy's already up. She's SmackDown. Like everybody went to SmackDown. So Jade SmackDown. Like SmackDown was loaded.
Right.
So if Roxanne could move up and get an angle on Raw, it's not bad. I think she loses and then she moves up. And Lyra just lives to fight another day, and we'll see. Yeah. Maybe Soul is like the next person they build up to challenge her because Soul is really good. They have some talent that needs to be elevated.
Right. And then like Lyra's got the whole other storyline going on with Tatum. So like there's still more meat on that bone. I think it's just good that this is probably as good a time as any for Roxanne to go up because she's got something that's working and got a little bit of heat behind it and it's working. So like now's the time to push her with some momentum going where she can go up to the main roster and already have a character kind of established. I think it's interesting that it's like, I wasn't sure like heel Roxanne would work and it totally works. It's great. Yeah. I think she's done really awesome work just being just mean. She's just mean. Yeah. It's great.
Nice little tweener.
But she cuts deep with like all of her lines. So like and it's totally working. And she has an attitude that's totally working. And I think based off of how other results will probably go for WrestleMania, it probably makes sense that not only are they getting more women on the Raw roster, but women heels as well.
Yeah, I think that's much needed going forward. Then Obafemi, Dijak, Josh Briggs. Obafemi's nerfing everyone, but
this dude,
big meaty man bumping meat. Let's do it.
This dude, man.
And Dijak's been really good.
Dijak has been good.
But
even
This,
even even if he's wearing sunglasses inside. But Obafemi is a monster.
yeah,
You guys have talked about it, but just it's not only that he is an absolute monster in the ring, it's he just has the one-liners that cut. He like he will turn into all of a sudden like he's doing like Denzel Washington doing a monologue. Like it's like what the hell? Like this dude is like it's like training day shit. Like it's
yeah,
amazing. Like it's so good and the fact that he's doing this and he's really barely been a he's barely been a fixture. He's not even been on the show for a year.
no,
And I feel like he is already light years ahead of so many other people that they've brought through the system. So I'm excited for him to win this. I'm excited for him to continue to get great momentum because eventually you got to be building him towards that main belt.
yep.
And I tell you what, Dragunov Obafemi, Trick Williams Obafemi, you got some really good matches that you could stick with him. I think the key part is how they handle him like finally losing and being careful with that, right? Because that's always tricky. But
Down the line, they could have him losing a triple threat and not like really do
yeah,
that. Like it's
everyone's
he's
got to be
giving.
everyone's got to be at least a little beatable,
I don't
Like there's
know.
got to be something.
He's giving Black Gunther vibes.
I know. Like
Man, it's Black Gunther.
it's true.
So,
And
yeah,
Triple H is like, yeah, these people don't fucking lose. And I
no,
mean, it is refreshing because again, you don't want to take the Vince path where just all these people are just being nerfed mysteriously one
yeah,
week. So I'm not saying that, but like, there's got to be some kind of weakness that's about. It's like a big bad in a video game or something like
yeah,
that, where it's like eventually you got to find a weak,
yeah.
but it ain't
The
here.
no, the surprise roll up. It's undefeated. Take you
Awesome
down.
Creed, man.
That's listen. Just grab a little
Schoolboy,
tights. Yeah, that's all you need.
schoolboy him to death. Small package him to death.
Small package. Shout out to Edge Christian Podcasts. back in the day before the name changes,
Small
where they
package.
had the small package. That was their best gimmick on that show. And then next match, where are we at? Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo.
I'm glad you brought this one up first because this really shouldn't be the main like the main event.
It's not the main event.
It's not.
They've already announced it. It's not
Okay.
the main event. It might actually open the show. I don't know. Like
That's a good
you're
point.
trying to get some distance between it. But Tony D'Angelo, just I'm not a Tony D'Angelo guy. They sing his praises. It's a very 90s gimmick because it's very dependent on like something where you got to stretch the imagination. And he does well with it, I guess. I just don't find it funny or captivating in any way.
It's a little
But
less cartoony than it was probably in the NXT like 2.0
oh yeah,
phase.
definitely.
It like that back then it felt like super cartoony.
Yeah,
It now kind of feels like it has a little bit of like steam behind it, and yeah, it seems like he's very like everyone has nothing but nice things to say about him. So I think it's a great opportunity for him, and this is like, hey, you're getting a championship match on the card that's at Mania. So, but I don't think this title ain't changing hands. I think Dragunov has
no.
still got plenty to do in NXT.
Yeah, no, he's not losing this. This is gonna be a win for him. Really, this is, hey Tony, you made the most out of this gimmick. We gave this to you when Vince came and like fucked everything up and wanted to go back to 1991, where everyone had to have a gimmick, and kind of just stuck with you. You're trying to make it work. You've done a great job just buying into it. We're going to throw you a bone, but this really is, and this is what the company is now. Show us you can wrestle. Like
Right.
the gimmick's good enough. Like if we need to, it's not my cup of tea, but if you need to, gimmick's good enough. Show us that you can wrestle. And against this guy, everyone can wrestle against this guy.
Right.
So go out there and put on a banger, and it'll elevate you in the loss because people will look at you as a wrestler with a gimmick. Now they just look at you as a gimmick, and I don't even know if this guy's a wrestler. So
Right. But Dragunov makes everyone look so
everyone.
good
And
because
if
he
you
just
don't
sells
look
the shit
good,
out of everything.
that's going to be more telling on you than it is Dragon.
Agreed.
And then main event, Carmelo versus Trick. Whoop that Trick.
Yeah.
Whoop that Trick. They almost went
Ooh.
at it at Wale Mania. I also like that WWE is like, we understand kayfabe is not
Hey,
what it
that's the
was.
best. That's the probably the best brawl that they've had, so that Booker T's not going, oh, shucky ducky quack quack.
Oh my God, he's the worst.
He's
I hate
terrible.
Booker T.
I'm
He is
sorry,
the
people. I
worst.
know there are people that listen to the show that love Booker T.
They do.
He's
He's not good at
awful.
his job. He's not good at.
It's more just like he inserts himself into everything because he wants to throw his little trademark catchphrase in there. It's like, no, like the moment that Trick had with Lash, like that was awesome.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden you just hear shuggy ducky quack quack. You're just like, bro,
it's the worst catchphrase.
just
How
like,
about that?
you
Like,
know
let's
what
just
some
start there.
announcers are really good at? Just laying out and just not saying shit. But it's that he introduces himself
It got to be
into it
about book.
as his own character. And there's just so many of the announcers that are like Wade Barrett's way like a million times better at him. That Corey Graves, million times better at him
Yeah,
than that. Like where they can be in whatever kind of host gimmick that they've got, but it's like not just like, oh, I'm just gonna fire off my line at any time. So, anyways, that said,
it's the worst. And his
you know
ad
what?
libs during Trick's entrance, like I don't like them. Whatever.
No,
People like
I
it's
it's
ridiculous.
annoying. Like I'd rather
Super
listen to
annoying.
the crowd. Like I want to hear the crowd chanting for him so that it's like, oh man, like I hear the momentum. I hear like how into it that they are, but you can't hear it
Yeah.
when he's like, what,
Well,
like,
and his mic is always loud. Turn his mic down, or if not, he'll just yell
or just
if the
turn him
mic is
off.
down. Yeah,
Damn.
it's
But
not
anyways,
great.
who wins this match?
Oh, Trick wins this match. Yeah,
You think Trick wins this match?
yeah, it'd be a great swerve if Mello won and Trick has to keep battling back. But no, Trick wins this match because it's Trick finally overcoming and getting out of Mello's shadow, and it's Trick Dragunov again because Dragunov beat him right, and now he has to climb that mountain, and Trick's going to be champion. And they were laid out a nice, succinct story and plan
Yeah,
for him to get there. At the end of the day, Melo's been champion. You know, Melo is money. Um, this is the story of how to build Trick, where maybe Trick loses again to Dragunov, and then it's just like, no, I refuse to. And then around SummerSlam time, Trick finally overcomes him. But yeah, you're just building Trick
yeah.
and beating Melo here and finally stepping out of that shadow is the next way to go.
And then there's all the rumors about is this the time when Mello goes up? So
I also think that's
this
true.
would be the perfect just jump off point. Have him go out on the Shield. Way to
It's
go! Thank
just it's
you.
tough. I don't know where he slots in to the
I
main
don't know where he
roster right
slots in
now.
either, but like he'll if there's anyone I have faith in to find their way, Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I had faith in him more when it was him and Trick
Sure, sure.
as a duo because I
Yeah,
thought they worked and they were money.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't want him to go up there and just be Ricochet. You
That's
know,
also true.
like
But he's just like he's so good on the mic and creating a character behind the
yeah,
microphone as well. Like the crowd will kind of
yeah. I
go from there.
just they've had so many things in place that I guess it's with the Cody story with
Right,
CM Punk coming back even since November. So much stuff was solidified, and then you have a true big bad in one spot in the mid card title, and then Logan Paul being an
right,
ambassador to the company in the other mid card title. That there wasn't spots for people to slide in, and you still like needed to slide in the Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayns, the higher mid card guys, upper echelon guys who they're really main event guys who came down from
right.
last year to fill out your mid card. And it's just like, man, no titles are moving. There's no movement. There's nowhere for someone to slide in. So even tag team wise, those have been stuck in the storyline with the Judgment Day. So like
Right.
DIY really hasn't had a chance to grow. You have two new factions on SmackDown who are feuding. We'll talk about against each other. They need space to go. Santos Escobar is looking like a big
Right.
bad. After this, he needs space to grow. Andrade is back. He needs space to get back into his position and grow. So with Mello, it's just like, damn, like where do they start you on this card? You just have to have some good feuds and matches, I guess. Hopefully he continues the heel role. He's great in the heel role. Bring him up, let him be a dick. And then fight, guys like Ricochet and
Yeah.
have a program where it's gonna be like, damn, they worked
Yeah.
and they crushed it. Have them feud against maybe the LWO after, like have him have good matches with a Rey Mysterio, who's a
Yeah.
legend, and going that direction to really build him up. Because I guess elevating him, just keep him visible.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to rush him into anything.
Yeah.
Trick when he goes up is on a 3-year plan. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there's no rush.
We kind of know that there's still a path for him.
Yeah. So it's all right. Let it clear out. Let some of these other guys get their times, but no, Trick is on that next level. Same thing they have to do with Austin Theory. It's like, yo, we gave him a lot quick, but he's really fucking good still.
Right.
And he's really good as a heel. Let's just put him back on this 3-year plan. Let everybody else kind of clear out and get their moments. And Punk gets his main event, everything. And we just know the guy's like 28. Like by the time he's 31, he's part of our future. Let's 3-year plan him back to where he has to be. Like slow play it because Vince shot his ass to the top and damn near killed his old buzz.
Yeah. Fucking cell phones.
But they found a way to keep him on TV while you're doing it. We cooled him down, but him, Grayson Waller, they've been getting beat up. It's funny. Every now and then they have a banger of a match. Just keeping them around.
Right.
So that mid card opens up and we can tell better stories.
Right.
So I just want Melo to be on that same plan. I think he loses. Trick wins. All right. Done with NXT. But now that means we get to talk Mania.
Oh, yes.
I gave my predictions on the last show. Want to get your predictions. And we get to be crazier because last time, okay, I know who I predicted. I know who's going to win in my head. Now I've had time to really think through the crazy shit. Now I got time.
Just Dre's not here.
The gloves are off, Coale. Gloves are off. This is where we really make the money right now. So we'll go through both nights right now and then talk about a little bit of fallout overall after we're done. But night one, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. I'll remind people, my pick is Rhea Ripley to retain in this match. Becky has been great. I don't think she needs the belt right now. Her job, much like it was in NXT, much like it's been the entire year, is to elevate other people. She's going to elevate Rhea with her first real feud and first real banger of a match since last year and winning the title. So, yep, I have Rhea winning, but this is going to be a good match.
Yeah, this has got like all of the markings of like, this is a marquee big time match. And I mean, that's what it was always going to be when it was kind of like, even from last year, it was like, okay, we kind of see where this is going. Because there's really, at this point, with the momentum that Rhea's got and how big she's gotten over the past year and a half, there's really only one other person on the roster that like you can throw in the match with her that you go like, okay, this is like, we're on equal footing. Because Becky is like, Becky has gotten to the point of invulnerability, right? The ultimate spot where the second she enters any kind of program, enters the ring, decides to cut a promo on someone, just crowd is eating it up constantly. I think what's been most impressive to see here is that it truly feels like Becky's the second fiddle in this. Like Rhea is so over. Like it's insane. And now I get to the point where like Rhea has very justifiably been in this kind of middle category, right? Where like, yes, she is the leader of a heel faction. She's a heel per se, but the crowd is eating this up. So, you know, is this a part where I almost could see this match being kind of the double switch here, where, you know, in theory, Becky is still kind of playing, you know, she's always still kind of in the middle. That's kind of her game, right? Where she's kind of the anti-hero, but she's plays more of the face side of that, right? But I think this could be a point where we get to kind of seeing a more like badass Becky Lynch on a warpath where she's going to lose this match and not take it well and just want to just start beating the shit out of people and being like, I gotta be the man again. I'm like, I've lost that edge, you know, and elevate Rhea into more of a babyface category. So, I kind of see this match kind of turning out that way where, you know, maybe Rhea does come out with a, like kind of the evil entrance kind of thing. And Becky, of course, like they're both going to be over. The crowd's going to be super hot for this. But at the end, Rhea wins. Maybe Becky is going to get up to some shenanigans after the bell that kind of gets the crowd to boo her. So that's what I could see happening here.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to turn anyone against Becky.
Right.
And Becky kind of has like
She'll
that.
always get cheered, but like
Yeah.
if anything, it's more that her tactics and her motives are
Yeah.
coming from more of a heel-ish
Yep.
rather than like a I'm just a badass and I don't give a shit kind of face. It's now going to be more like, wait, I'm losing my edge. This fucking like I can't I'm losing these matches. What the hell's going on? I'm just gonna beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. I think this ends in like the sign of respect. And that's how you turn and get Rhea more babyface, where it's finally like a all right, Becky, a handshake, hug, passing of the torch, arm up type of thing. And Rhea's like, yeah. And then Damian Priest is like, what the hell is going on?
Sure.
Dom is gone. You're soft. I'm the leader. I still haven't cashed in yet. And night one is just like, I hate you all. Like, you guys suck. You guys have been holding me back. And then we have, Rhea going on to be more of a baby face, like you said. And then they need more heels on Raw. So
Yeah.
going forward, the next night, I think that's where we start to see like, okay, what's in the next plans for Rhea? Because SummerSlam build has to come. I don't know if anyone's really truly in line to be Miss Money in the Bank yet. There's, you know, a long time, I guess, between now and July, 3 months. I don't think you give it to like a Jade Cargill yet because
No,
she
I
just
think I
got
know you give it
here.
to. I think that briefcase going to Tiffy.
Oh, Tiffy time.
Yeah, I think it's Tiffy time with that
Um,
briefcase.
no, I love that. Oh, she'd be
Oh,
the best of
she could.
assholes
And the
with that
thing is
briefcase.
like all like notoriously in the history of the Money in the Bank, all the women have cashed it like immediately, like,
Yeah,
all of them, or like very close. I mean, Io held on to it for a little bit.
yeah.
Tiffy, hold on to that thing till next WrestleMania and just cut promos with that briefcase.
You
Just
know she's gonna bedazzle it.
it's got merch. It's got merch written all over it. It's
Oh,
got promos written all over it. Like she can just kind of like what they've tried to do with like Senor Money in the Bank.
yeah,
She could do this a million times better. So
yeah. It's gonna be
there's our
pink.
first future booking is Tiffany
Oh,
Stratton is winning the
I'm
main
with it
event.
now. Yeah,
100%.
it's gonna be pink, bedazzled, everything, or
Just
maybe Tiffany colored.
she's gonna have
Oh,
all talk segments called Tiffany
yeah.
Epiphanies, and it's just gonna be her in that briefcase all bedazzled. She might even just be like dolling it up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like the promo she could cut with that thing the whole
Just
time.
matching briefcase
It's
outfit,
also
or
how
if
you
the
it's all how you like, oh, that's it. No, the briefcase changes with her outfit all the
outfit every
time.
time. Yeah.
It's like mean girl shit. Like this is what we
Yes.
gotta go. I
Wednesdays we wear pink type shit. Yeah. It's
writes itself.
I like
And
it.
it keeps her on TV every week and she doesn't even have to wrestle every week.
Yeah. No, I love it. And it keeps her around the main event picture without always being there. So you give her secondary feuds, but she's always stalking the champion.
And Rhea's belt, no one's touching that for a while, but that other belt,
So we'll talk about it.
we'll talk
So
about it.
I like that. I think Rhea needs more heels to kind of work with. I don't know when they do the next like draft or shakeup.
Yeah.
But there's two GMs now, so they're gonna shake shit up sooner or later. So one brand may be a little heavier. I'm assuming it'll be either around or before the Netflix move,
Yeah.
because you kind of have to give Netflix an idea of like what the talent are that are going there. So we'll see how that one plays out. Then we have Gunther versus Sami Zayn.
Yes.
I fantasy booked this a little bit last time, so I'll just go through with not only what happens, but how this plays out. Sami Zayn loses to Gunther in this match. Gunther stands tall. Him and Chad Gable now start beefing. Chad's like, I told you I couldn't do it. I'm the man to do it. Sammy's like, no, I am going to do it. I telling you, I'm not going to let you down. At Backlash, we have the triple threat between
Yeah.
those three, because Gunther's still like, ha ha ha, I beat both of you guys, but I'll beat you both at the same time. And then they're off wrestling, and Sammy or Gable beat each other. You get the belt off of Gunther, and he never has to get pinned.
So I like where you're going with this.
Yeah. Oh, let's get weird,
I
Cole.
want to
Let's
take it.
get
I want to
weird.
take it a step further. And
Okay.
actually, I have two scenarios for this because one can be based off of what you've got going on.
Well,
I
got
don't think
two hot takes on
I
one
don't. Well, no,
match.
no, no. It's not really too hot take. The first, my initial like before really kind of like hearing your pitch for it because this I have like a modified version of that. The way I almost originally saw it going out here is Gunther wins here, WrestleMania Night 1, but they're gonna wrestle a classic. Obviously, Sami Zayn is perfectly well equipped to like get in the ring with Gunther and give you the hope and give you the idea that maybe just for a second or 2 seconds he might have it because that's just Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So I think what might work into here is that Chad and Sammy are kind of cultivating kind of a game plan. They're trying to figure out how to take down this beast. My idea would be Sammy gets Gunther. He not necessarily injures Gunther, but he gets him weak in a particular spot. He works a knee, he works an arm. I don't know. Something that like they've decided to target, right? Like him and Gable have decided to target like a body part of Gunther, maybe his arm so that his slaps aren't as powerful, right? And he's just working the arm the whole match and gets to a point where like Gunther's arm is a total mess. Sammy gets him in a hold where it's like, oh my God, they might get Gunther to tap out here. But Gunther just kind of powers through it, gets the win. We get to Raw after WrestleMania.
Oh, this is the time.
And my original idea was that it wouldn't be a triple threat. Chad Gable would go to Pierce's office.
Mm.
Maybe like it's the first segment of Raw after Mania, and like Gunther's there, right? And they're talking with Adam Pierce, and Chad Gable goes in there and goes, "You know what? Sammy couldn't get the job done. You know what, Gunther? You give me a shot tonight, and I can never go for this belt if you hold it again."
Ooh.
Put in one of those stipulations, right? Where like Chad's like, this is it. I'm going to make this my last chance to get you. I know I can get you. Now I know I've got you beat. I can get you down. And Gunther's a little hurt.
Yeah.
So therefore, they do main event Raw after Mania is Chad Gable and Gunther.
Good.
And Chad Gable, because of Gunther's injury, you're able to work an injury angle so that it doesn't look like Gunther is like
Full. Yeah. He's not full go. Yeah.
he's not full dead, right? Or yeah, exactly. So it's like you're able to work in some kind of injury angle. Chad Gable at the end of Raw after Mania has the belt, wins the Intercontinental Championship. Everyone goes home happy because we want to see Gable win it.
Yeah.
And then you can work in an angle where like Sammy's like, wait a second, did you just make me like, did I just do the work for you? Like,
Yeah. Was this your plan all along?
then they can beef and SummerSlam can be those two. Now, also, I will say alternatively, this triple threat situation could be what they do on Raw after Mania. Either way, I just think Gunther loses the belt on the Raw after Mania.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's power to having someone actually beat Gunther.
Right.
Like having them beat each other doesn't give them the rub it would of beating Gunther.
Right.
But again, I'm saving that. Like
Sure.
this guy's an animal. And then he just be like, you know what? I'm tired of you guys. Like no one pinned me, but my eyes on a different prize. And with Money in the Bank coming up, I know I can go and get that.
Right.
Because unlike the women's, which you kind of solved my problem, Gunther Money in the Bank, I understand Royal Rumble has like a mystique and everything. Gunther Money in the Bank, just final boss shit, the real final boss. Sorry, Rock. Final boss shit. Gunther holding the briefcase every week.
Ring general briefcase.
The ring general, restoring order to the mat.
He could cut
with
some
this
mean.
brief-
He could cut some mean promos with that too.
And at that point, you really don't know who he's cashing in on because he hates everyone equally.
Right. And you could
So-
and he could dominate anyone who's like after the
yes,
match.
anyone. So Cody got to have his head on a swivel. Spoiler alert. Like whoever, whether it's Drew, whether it's Priest, whether it's Rollins, all of them, because Gunther's come. Everybody has to have that.
Everyone
head on a
knows
swivel.
that unlike Veer,
Yes.
Gunther is actually
So you coming. Yes. Definitely. Veer is still somewhere,
yes,
still coming.
Gunther wins Raw after Mania. He drops the title, and then he can take a little bit of time off. He can take a summer off,
Nah,
or not
that
necessarily
guy's-
the summer.
He's gonna whoop
he
ass.
could take a couple of weeks off at least,
Yeah.
so that way you can kind of like let him cool off, and then he comes back, and then you can start injecting him, and you could start planning and looking ahead to an idea of like a Cody Gunther.
I would have agreed with you, except Paris is the next pay-per-view, and they're
Sure.
building that around it.
That's a good point.
European Gunther is like he's selling tickets.
Yeah,
he's gonna do something over there.
very good point.
And then one of my favorite matches to look forward to, six-pack tag team ladder match,
Me too.
undisputed tag team championships, Judgment Day,
Uh-huh.
Finn Balor, Damian Priest, DIY,
Yep. Uh-huh.
The Awesome Truth, The New Day, A-Town Down Under, which is a hilarious name for a tag team.
Great tag team name.
Phenomenal. And New Catch Republic. So
this is definitely the match I'm honestly looking the most forward to, just because this is
I love ladder matches. Yeah, I love when the IC title had one every year at Mania. I love that there's going to be bodies flying around for the tag team championships. There's so many different types of teams here. It's going to be a fun match. It's no way it's going to be boring. You got to be glued to your seat during this. So I've fantasy booked this one already, but I'll let you give your take on how this plays out.
I feel like it's where the hot take actually resides is someone thinking that there's going to be one winner in this match, right? I feel like everyone is in agreement that the whole reason this match exists is so that they can split up the belts.
Yes, sir.
Which means we all have to pick two winners.
Okay. I was about to say, are you going to do it? Are you going to be the one to say it's going to be one winner? Okay, good. You're not that hot right now. The take is not taking that much right now. No, I've picked my two winners for the belts.
I'm trying to think of who gets them.
Yeah, on mine, because
it's not the Judgment Day. I'm going to rule out the Judgment Day is not going to get any of the belts.
No, Judgment Day is not winning, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The Awesome Truth are coming down with those Raw tag team titles,
and it's got to be. I feel like that makes the most story sense because it's got to be our Truth up there with Damian Priest, like on a ladder, right?
Yeah,
those two have to be up there, and he somehow comes down with a belt.
Yep.
Like somehow.
And he has to knock him off, and then that's like the story of that one. And then at some point, you're gonna have either 4 teams or all 6 teams like punching each other to grab these belts. Like that's how it's gonna end. And then I feel like the other titles I thought would go to New Catch Republic because they've been doing a lot on SmackDown. Dre had a different prediction. So you're going to be the tiebreaker for us, producer Coale. Baby.
I am going to say A-Town, Down Under. And the reason why is because I feel like they want to, like, they clearly want to keep them around on TV as like obnoxious people. And there are so many different tag teams you can start throwing at them to like have them in feuds. So like the New Day can go after them. Street Profits can go after them if they're not doing any more stuff with Bobby Lashley. There are ways to like just have them be that annoying tag team that you want to lose every week, and they continue to win, and then they get on their segments backstage or their segments in the ring and are just, there's a chance to have it like a truly obnoxious heel having a title, which we don't really have.
I like that option.
And also, maybe this is the elusive spot where we can give Austin Theory some momentum and give him some credibility back. This might be the arena to do it. It works. Like what he and Grayson Waller do works, and they don't have anybody else in the company really doing what they do. So A-Town Down Under.
Listen, I'm not mad at that. I
may
have the worst pick out of everyone.
Soft spot. I would love to see DIY win.
That's Dre's pick.
Really soft spot. I'd love to see the New Day with the titles again, but I think this makes the most sense.
Yeah, we all have 3 different picks. I kind of like you and Dre's picks better, but I gotta stick to what I'm doing. Like I didn't even think really about A-Town Down Under and the run they can go on after this. Mostly because SmackDown has so many heel tag teams.
Sure.
Right now, like Street Profits are kind of tweeners at this point, and then
in my scenario,
AOP
like this whole thing with Bobby Lashley doesn't work, and we just get the Street Profits back. That's really what I'm hoping for.
That's probably what we need. That's probably
100%.
what.
We don't need, like, they don't need to be with Bobby Lashley.
No. Or
They're
even
good
if they
now.
are, give them MVP back, and they don't have to be heels.
Yeah. No, they shouldn't
Just
be
let them
heels.
be a babyface faction.
Let them
Like
be just
it's not that serious.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they just three black guys who look pretty good in suits that are gonna come through and wreck shit when it's time to go in the ring.
Right.
It's not hard to pull off. And then we have Bianca, Jade, and Naomi versus Damage Control, Dakota, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. This one's
There's
pretty
there's a
clear cut.
0% chance Damage Control wins this.
No,
0% chance, right?
or Dakota Kai.
Poor Damage Control. I feel like they
Damage
are.
Control is fine. They're not losing their belts. Dakota Kai is going to get nerfed.
I wonder I wonder what's in store for them after Mania. I don't know if there's anything left for them to really do that's like puts them at the top of the card. I feel like the whole Bailey thing was kind of like the top of the story, unless they're going to keep that story going. I don't know. I'm worried about what's going on with Damage Control after this, but yeah, this match is all about let's just make Jade Cargill look incredible. And
Yeah.
that's what this whole match is set up to do. She's gonna get the hot tag, come in, kill everybody, get the pin, and they're gonna stand tall at the end of this match. I think that's, and
I agree.
maybe if you really want to take it the extra step, is Jay gets the win. They all stand tall at the end. It's great. And then at the very end, Jay just kicks the shit out of both of them. It just is like, I'm the best.
Let's not break
Come at
black
me.
people's hearts. Like
I
that's
know.
a Monday angle. Like
Now
let's
I
just do
know.
that on Friday.
I understand. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably for later, but the point being, like, Jade starts going on the path of like
Yeah,
time to dominate.
makes sense. Yeah, no, I don't mind that at all. Um, I would put that more towards Friday as
Sure,
we're booking the future
sure.
thing. I
Non
think
WrestleMania moment. I would agree
yeah,
with that.
I would think her and Naomi would be a great first program for Jade
Yeah.
because it's someone who can take care of her, who's a veteran, who can really wrestle, kind of giving her that Natalia role where you have to make Jade look good in her first feud. And Friday, them all celebrating. And Bianca's entire story during this whole thing is you can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
It's like, Naomi, stop trusting people. What the hell is your problem? And
Right.
then they trust Jade, and Jade beats the hell out of Naomi. And Bianca's like,
Told you.
you trusted another one. Great job. And they kind of just go off on their own angle. And that leaves Bianca to go off on hers, which we will talk about shortly.
Mm.
LWO versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom tag team match. Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee versus Escobar and Mysterio. I gave my hot take for this. I will reiterate that in a second. Do you have a hot take or are you playing it straight on this match?
I mean, to me, I'm gonna break it down real simple. Ray got to have his moment beating the shit out of his kid in front of a Cinnamon Toast Crunch band.
Yes, he did.
There is no way Ray gets to do it again.
Yep.
Just zero way. Santos and Dom are winning this match. Dom is going to laugh his ass off, gather more heat. We need to start powering up Dom here because I do have thoughts on what needs to happen with Dominic Mysterio after WrestleMania. But we got to start. He's got to start getting some confidence, getting some wins.
Give
And
us the
really,
hot take. Or does it depend still on a match we haven't talked about?
no. Actually, no. We've talked about Rhea. So it really, I feel like what we have to do at some point is Dom has to get confident enough to the point where he's going to start feeling like he doesn't need Rhea. Because that's the ultimate heel maneuver right now, right?
Yep.
To give him even more heat at some point down the road, he's got to break mommy's heart.
That's it. You're holding me back.
You're holding me back. Right. And like that will send Rhea to the absolute fucking moon as a baby face. And honestly, have it as a match at some point down the road. WWE, do not be fucking cowards. Rhea and Dom, put them in a match together somehow. If you really need to make it a mixed tag for some reason, go ahead, do it. all I need to have is on a PLE somewhere down the road. Rhea's got to beat the shit out of Dom. So I like the idea of Dom getting some momentum here and really kind of building it up. And maybe, maybe they're obviously they've teased a little bit of Andrade talking with Judgment Day. Maybe in the fallout of that, maybe Dom kind of falls into that category. And Dom, Andrade, Santos, maybe they start kind of working some stuff up and working some magic together. So we'll see.
You hit it on the head of my hot take right at the end.
Andrade's going to
To
come
me,
filter in here somewhere, right? They've been teasing it.
to me, this is how you win this. I think we're getting the ultimate Spanish
The Avenger.
faction.
I do remember hearing this.
The Avengers of Spanish people is what we are getting.
Sure.
It's what Andrade had in Mexico before he arrived. It's why we have LIJ in New Japan. It's why we have like that crew when it's Andrade, Rush, all that's like a real big faction because Spanish people run deep. Like there's no fair ones, there's no one-on-ones. It's a lot of us. So they're all gonna crew up. And I think it starts here where Dragon Lee is supposed to be the one that is taking over Lucha and the future of Lucha Libre and everything. Dragon Lee's gonna turn on Ray. Dragon Lee is going to turn on Ray. He's going to stand tall with Santos, Dominic Mysterio, and Andrade. And we're going to get the like O's, and all of them are going to be a faction and a crew. Plus, they have a tag team already with Garza.
You're basically what you're doing is you're planning on like having Andrade do what he was supposed to do in AEW, but now doing it in WWE.
Yes, where he brings all the luchador,
because he is the CEO. Like he is that guy who calls the shots.
A main event talent. You have a mid-card talent in Santos. You have Dirty Dom who can be either or if you want. You have a legit tag team as well. And you have Dragon Lee, who's kind of like the cruiserweight thing, that's just going to come in and do crazy flippy shit. And you also have a female manager in there. Like you have everything. And then LWO's in peril. I kind of want to see Zelina Vega come back over and be part of this as well.
Kind of get what really theoretically was kind of what Legado del Fantasma was supposed to be, right? Except it's going to be this kind of 2.0 version of it. I know.
Yeah,
2.0.
where it's
I don't want to say 2. I don't want to say 2.0 because that's we think of NXT 2.0, but you get my point.
Yep. It's one of those where we are the future of not only lucha libre, we are the future of pro wrestling,
of professional wrestling. Yeah,
it is the Bullet Club equivalent to just being Spanish as fuck. Like there's like 9 members of us, and we're all doing something.
And the thing is that really like they haven't done that successfully. Like having like a Bullet Club like faction that is just so big, and like honestly, like I'd be down for a curveball like that. That's just like that's almost like what they tried to do with Judgment Day, but it's just better wrestling.
Yeah,
honestly,
tons of them. And Andrade is like the mastermind behind that.
Yes,
and bringing everyone together and saying like, yo, it's so important to be able to play on like, especially now, past tropes and past hardships in WWE. Now that Vince is gone. And it's something where you can openly now say, they never give us a chance in this company. Like we had Alberto Del Rio. Like there's no one's giving a bunch of Spanish people a chance here. They made us ride lawnmowers. They made us have fucking lowriders every time.
Right.
You know, we had Eddie, we had Ray. They had their time. But since no one's had a chance, they think we are less than, and we're going to show them that it's our time. Play up on that. You know, Andrade be like, they cut me. I was the NXT champion. They let me go. And I came back. I didn't forget that.
I love
they took our mask. They took our heritage. Like this company don't think shit of us. Let's go. And people were like, oh, they got a good point.
And I like the idea of like them take over by force And I almost see like these promos of kind of like what AEW was starting to do when they had Andrade, and it would be like they would cut promos from like that boardroom that had like
Yep.
the big skyrise window looking out. Like I almost see like cut these promos like it's The Godfather, and we're looking at Vito Corleone. Like
Yep.
that's what I want to see Andrade like cut these promos
Oh,
as,
it's gonna be great.
where he's just like the mastermind, and he is in full control at all times. And I feel like AEW would sometimes scratch the surface with that, but like that's his character, and that's when he's at his best. Is
Yep.
like when he's kind of like cool, calm, collected, making deals, but he's also like a badass who can come out and kick your ass. Like I like the idea of them building this whole faction up. So, and almost if you feel like now's the time for Judgment Day to kind of part ways, so to speak, and kind of
It's a
break that up,
good faction to just
they can
roll
kind of
right
go
in.
into their place and be better.
Yep, I agree. This is your faction for like the next 2 years until you have to break them down, and elevate whoever comes out of that.
And
And
there's a lot of good talent there. I mean,
oh
Santos is
yeah,
great. Andrade obviously is great. And
if Andrade works himself to the position where he
Dominic,
should be as a world heavyweight champion, because there's two main belts. If he works to the world heavyweight championship or something, and he gets that one, that is how you have now Dom, who's been Dirty Dom for so long, push his way to get the belt that his father once held,
yeah.
that Eddie Guerrero once held, to say, you know what?
Wait,
They were
you just said the same thing twice.
they were world heavyweight champions. And
Yeah.
yes, I understand there's a WWE championship, but that's not what I care about. I care about the belt they had.
Yeah.
And Andrade's keeping me from that, and they kick him out, and he's finishing his story
There you
by
go.
getting the belt that they both had 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Yeah. I think this is like it's
Long-term booking,
there
Coale.
is a
I
lot of
did
potential.
it.
This is where we're
I
here.
did it
We've
for
done
Dom
wait,
again.
wait, oh wait, did we just book Dom? Are we booking Dom's entire career?
2 years out, it writes itself.
Buckets. And it gets Andrade going in, and it gets Andrade looking
Yeah.
strong, which is
Done it
ultimately,
again.
yeah.
Did it
I tell
again,
I
Coale.
tell you what, the really key part, the X factor that could really make that faction work. I tell you what it is. Take it from real life. Who's Andrade married to?
Oh,
Bring Charlotte into that faction.
oh my God. You're gonna
I
have a
tell you,
white queen in the Spanish faction? Shit
but
don't get more Spanish than that, Coale.
but I tell you what, but I'm just telling you, like
That's some
that,
power couple at the top type
but
shit.
and that's a role that is fucking perfect for Charlotte.
Oh, she'd
And
be an asshole.
because the thing is like with heel Charlotte, there's always like a pathway to her to lose, right?
Yeah.
Not there. No, she can just kick everyone's ass.
Yes.
I think it fits like her character perfectly.
Yeah.
I think
Because
that's
Zelina and what's the other chick's name?
they can go after tag team belts together
Tag team
too.
belts. Yeah. And then you have like Charlotte being like, oh, I'm the queen. He is the king.
I think
We
that's
stand
perfect.
atop of this whole shit.
And also it's like
That's a faction.
and the thing is too, right? Like if you're with her injury timeline too, it works, right? Because you can kind of like start building this faction up. And ultimately, like if she's in that faction, she's the one with the most cred as far
Yeah.
as WWE is concerned, right? So all of a sudden, you put the stamp of fucking approval on that, being like Charlotte Flair's here,
Oh,
the
man.
winningest, woman on our roster, the queen, she's here.
Yeah,
I
that's some
think
Triple H, Stephanie level of power
yes.
type shit.
And that's
You elevate
and
Andrade to like a
that shit is
crazy level.
legit. That shit is
Yeah.
legit and would send that to the moon. I'm
Oh,
telling you what,
just
I don't know.
hatred.
Yeah, I don't know if this is just ingobernables or like what you call this faction,
Yeah,
Legado de Fantasma. I don't know what you call this faction, but like I'm all I know is I'm signing up for this. I'm here for
that's
it.
oh my God. 3 years from now, Dom's chasing. They kick Dom out. Those two are running things.
And then at that point,
He's
if it's years down the road and like Dom
he
and Rhea make up, and then Rhea
oh
and Dom go
that
after Andrade and Charlotte,
not even making up. Like Charlotte keeps costing it, Dom, and he needs someone to help him.
Rhea just goes like,
Rhea comes out of nowhere. The reunion. It's like Macho and Miss Elizabeth trotting around the ring.
dude,
But mommy picks Dom up on her shoulder
yes,
and they're back together. Do you know the pop?
this shit. I'm telling you, this shit
It
right
writes
here,
itself, Cole.
this is so good.
Oh,
WWE, just
we've
call
done it
us.
again. We've done it again.
We have booked the greatest Spanish faction ever.
Ever, ever.
We done it.
The love story, the crumble, the return.
They're
There's
evil. They're
so
good. They're
many.
evil.
And
Charlotte.
Rhea and Charlotte, that's unfinished business.
Yes. It's
Oh,
just like that's the thing is like Charlotte puts
Charlotte with the title and
Char-
Rhea's getting it back.
that's the X factor of this whole thing. Just let him cook for a little bit while Charlotte's healing, and then at some point bring the hammer in where Andrade's like, but I've got the secret weapon, and like literally out of the shadows behind him, Charlotte just appears, and it's just like,
Oh,
why not take on real life? Like, why not?
it's incredible. I love the booking there. Love it. We've done it again. This
We
is
did.
why we need to be on it.
This
This
is
is why we do
this
two
is
wrestling shows
this is
this week.
legit. I'm telling you, this
This
is legit. I
we've
want to
done
see
it
this.
again.
Like, I
And
sign me up.
And then Jimmy versus Jey Uso.
I tell you what, this I am out of all the matches that are on this card, this one bums me out the most. And it bums me out because this should feel way bigger than it is. And part of it is it's the personally, I would have loved to see the Cody and Roman be booked very differently than what we've seen here. Now I get it. There's always going to be the corporate stuff that kind of gets in the way. And like Rock was put into here.
Yeah.
They had to figure out a way to make Rock work. And to everyone's credit, including The Rock, Trips, everybody, Cody, Seth, Roman, everyone has kind of collectively come together and made it work. The main event is great. But like, I feel like this should be a war.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like that to me. It just kind of feels like we're doing it for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they picked it up too late.
They picked it up too late. Them one-on-one at Mania, or their one-on-one at Royal Rumble, like should have told them something. Should have told them that like this isn't at a fever pitch anymore. Part of it is it comes down to like what is the reason that Jimmy betrayed Jay, and there's never been to me a good enough reason. It's never really because like Jimmy was the one that got them to like him super kicking Roman was massive.
Yeah. And then they kind of just backtracked without explanation.
Yeah, them winning versus Solo and Roman at Clash of the Castle. It was a Clash of the Castle? Or no, it was Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
It was in England. Them winning that match was
hitting
awesome.
Roman.
And then Jay versus Roman at SummerSlam, and then Jimmy just super kicks Jay for no reason. That part has always kind of killed the momentum for this. So it bums me out because like this should be a moment where Jay like gets even more over. But now I feel like we're using this match to maybe go down the line that Jay wins eventually. So I think Jimmy wins because he's got to have some like there's been nothing going for Jimmy, at least far as at least comparably to me. He's just kind of been like the comic sidekick of the bloodline now.
Yep.
The yeet, no yeet thing does not do it for me.
I like the yeet. Just the regular yeet.
Yeet is great. Like Jay is taking
the
that
no
like,
yeet.
No yeet is just like you're not Jay, and that's not what Jimmy should be. Like Jimmy should be his own character. So maybe this is how we start building Jimmy up. So give me Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean that was my prediction too. It's just like Jimmy just needs it. Jay's bulletproof.
Jay's got Jay's got a character.
Yeah.
Jay's been able to develop something.
Jimmy needs this.
Jimmy is still a bloodline soldier. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. And Jimmy, spoiler alert, being the only bloodline person to win this weekend is something he'll be like, Roman would be like, I can't believe we lost everything. He'd be like,
y'all didn't take your best. Well,
he'd be like, I didn't lose. I took care of business.
The definition of who wins in the bloodline is going to be very, very weird because the main event stuff is going to be weird. But anyways.
And then main event night one. I think I fantasy booked the fuck out of this already.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one of those things where I think, the Rock takes the pin. I've said this past 3 episodes. Rock takes the pin. Roman gets pissed off because it's not bloodline rules the next day. Feels like Roman cost him. Turns super heel. Feel like Rock cost him. And then beats the hell out of the Rock. After that match, Rock becomes a baby face and gets to go off as a baby on night 2. Maybe helps Cody a little bit night 2 or something. I don't know. or celebrates with Cody after night 2 because Roman just beat the shit out of him. And yeah, and we see Roman because everyone's elevated off of this except Roman. It's like he's just been waiting for something. Him and Heyman have been throwing Rock dirty looks this whole fucking time.
Right.
Rock being the final boss is like, really? You're the final boss? Like, I'm the head of the table. Like,
Right.
are you comparing yourself to me? And I think Roman has to remind Rock of this. And to get to super heel Roman, ultra booze for night 2, he has to beat shit out of Rock because people still love The Rock. They love his work right now. Everything he's been doing. And to turn on The Rock after this match, I think is what takes Roman and what they've been waiting for to the next level for night 2. And Cody has to be that version of Roman.
Okay. Here's if shit hadn't gotten wacky yet.
Oh shit, we're getting real.
I see what you're saying here, and I do like your angle of like somehow getting Rock to be babyface at the end by helping Cody. I do think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be because the Rock gets pinned. I believe Roman and Rock are going to win in night 1, so that sets up bloodline rules for night 2. And we'll get to night 2 in a little bit, but let's focus on night 1 because night 1's going to have an ending that no one's going to. I don't think anyone's predicting it. At least I haven't seen it out there.
Oh, it's an original Coale special.
Maybe. I mean, maybe someone's booked it. I'm sure someone has the internet, you know. But I think what's going to happen is The Rock is going to pin Seth Rollins. And it's going to be because Roman and Rock are going to be able to isolate Cody enough, maybe tie him up somewhere, something like that, and they're just going to beat the shit out of Seth. My thinking here is they've planted some seeds of doubt within Seth Rollins throughout this build, right? Where like people are kind of questioning his motives a little bit, right? And there's something you have to remember. How is Rock here in the first place, right? Wasn't it Cody that brought out The Rock?
Yeah.
And they shook hands. Let's keep in mind, everyone's looking at that as like a big mistake and we had to retcon that. And yes, we did. But why not? Let's bring this to the forefront here, right? Cody's going to get isolated. Maybe Rock ties up Cody somewhere and they just beat the shit out of Seth. Like, beat the shit out of him. Maybe Seth like starts like kind of like getting a little bit of momentum, but he's going to come out of this match pretty hurt. Rock pins Seth. Bloodline rules. Seth and Cody are there in the ring being like, man, we fucked up. Like, shit. And Seth's going to be like all pissed. Cody is going to be like, hey, man, Seth, sorry like that you got pulled it. And like Seth's going to be like, no, just get out of here. Get out of here. Seth's going to be by himself in the ring. Here comes Senor Money in the Bank. He is going to cash in. And at the end of night 1, Damian Priest is going to have the World Heavyweight Championship.
Wow.
You may be asking, well, what about night 2? Wait. McIntyre and Seth Rollins.
I'm enthralled now. Like, I'm in.
Because the beginning of night 2, Seth Rollins is going to be talking with the GMs there, being like, hold on a second. Okay, yeah. Send your Money in the Bank, cash in, he's champ. But like, that match was me and Drew. That match is going to become a triple threat for the World Championship. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins, who's injured, are going to be booked as a triple threat on night 2. That's my prediction. And this is after like Roman and Rock get to celebrate for a while. Really, it ends with like Cody and Seth being like, and Seth is just going to be like, get the fuck out of here, Cody. Like, I don't need you. Like, you brought me into this mess. Boo, boo, boo. Like, but he's injured. And Damian Priest catches in, and we have a Damian Priest holding up the belt at the end of night 1.
Cool. Let me be the first to tell you, I've heard that nowhere.
Okay, good.
It makes so much damn sense. Because Priest doesn't get a failed cash in. He gets to be champion and celebrated for a night. Yes. Judgment Day looks great.
Yes.
He clearly dropped the titles without getting pinned earlier.
Yes.
Which is the key to every cash in. You always lose earlier in the night. Then come out on top and win. Oh my God, everyone's great.
an ending that no one sees coming.
Yeah, Judgment Day. We're celebrating. We all won. And then night 2, shit starts to unravel.
And night
Night,
2,
night one would be all about the story of the Judgment Day. Rhea winning, keeping the belt, Dom
Dom.
winning, finally beating his father, probably pinning him, and then Senor Money in the Bank cashing in. And it's the coronation and culmination of the Judgment Day story for one night.
And if you're worried, yeah, because guess what this
Then,
exits the worry of? Because maybe we can just roll this right into night 2 and we can just start talking about this
yeah,
now booked triple threat. Now,
yeah,
we should say with a caveat, if this doesn't happen, I do believe Seth Rollins will still lose the belt and Drew McIntyre will win.
agreed.
Seth will be beat up from night 1. So,
Yeah.
But let's talk in this alternate universe that I've created here, in which it's a triple threat now: Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
Well, ain't this the perfect time to put a belt on Drew Mac? Drew McIntyre wins.
Seth's going to get pinned 3 times in one weekend.
Let's say, I will say he pins Damian Priest. Let's save Seth Rollins because Seth doesn't need to come out of here being totally.
Seth is still injured. No one told him to hobble his ass into the match.
That's true, but like that's like an opening for the match, right? Like they both know he's hurt, and then they'll just both beat the shit out of Seth at the beginning of the match. But then eventually, like Drew and Damian are going to have to start beating each other up. But ultimately, we all feel like we have to put this belt on Drew, not only because man is in fuego,
Yeah.
but hello, SummerSlam, that triceps healed.
Yeah, that's the story.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, like it just makes all the sense in the world. Plus, like, yeah, Drew's on a roll. He's hater of the year. Hate. Give him the belt so he can continuously hate. And he will thank God Almighty for giving everybody so much and him so little. So yeah.
You've done it again, Cole.
But I think that
again.
I feel like this is a way to give Damian's cash in some strength, right?
Yep.
It still comes at a good point. He was champion for a day, but I think we've all kind of been like, how does he fare as a champion long term? There isn't something for him there yet.
No.
So this makes sense for him to get the belt. They get to have a moment. He gets to have a moment.
Gets a WrestleMania moment.
He gets a WrestleMania moment. And like we talk about, I mean, now granted, Seth held on to that belt for a while, but how big of a moment was Seth's cash in? And poetry in motion, it's Seth getting cashed in on at the end of WrestleMania night.
Yeah.
Heck, you know what, Damian? Go ahead and swing that belt. Go ahead and swing that belt like yourself. Do that. So that is going into night 2. I still pick, no matter what the circumstance, I think Drew McIntyre still wins that match. But
that's your best booking ever.
Thank you.
I go on ever. It makes so much sense that I can't believe no one's thought of it. I'm hoping they thought of it because it makes that much sense. To the point where if they don't use it, I might be disappointed.
I mean, here's the question. When else is going to be a moment for him to cash in other than a failed cash in?
Call it in right now. Do you know anyone who knows trips? Call it in. Let's do a Vince McMahon style autumn.
I do know some people who are calling some shots there. Maybe I should give him a call.
Cole is plugged in. Please.
But point being, I would love to see that. I think that's the best way to cash it in. And there you go.
Incredible.
That's how we start night 2.
I wish I would have known of this because we would have just ended the show on that shit. I'm upset that we have other. No,
but we still have Roman and Cody. And all that. We still have to get there.
That's the best shit I've heard all week. Io Sky versus Bayley. Me and Dre agreed on this. You may not. Io Sky wins. You said what happens to Judgment Day or not Judgment Day? Damage Control after this. Damage Control starts after this. Okay. Because they've been coasting. They still have the women's tag team champions because even though they lost, they still have the belts. Io becomes the Io they need her to be by beating Bayley and crushing the dreams. Not everyone can have a happy story ending. Right. Someone's dreams have to be crushed on Mania, and that's going to be Bayley's because they have to make her feel, as great as this is, as the underdog that she was before. And her character in NXT and a babyface Bayley always has to be more of an underdog. Yeah. She lost a shit ton in NXT before she got that belt. And they need to build that up even more. So maybe SummerSlam will be her thing, but Io has to look strong. They have to put on a really, really good match. And Trips has three of his arguably favorite NXT champions ever in this faction. He's not going to let it fail. He's not going to let it be something lackluster. They just bought back, people for this faction.
Right.
It's going to be something that's going to be reckoned with, and it's just getting started.
I think
So
I think in that case, I think you're absolutely right. I think that to me makes a lot of sense because I think going into this card, I worried about damage control,
yeah,
but I think it also makes sense too because Bailey hasn't yes, she's the baby face in this particular match, right? But has she really fully transformed back into that version of Bailey that I think everyone is wondering when is that going to come back because it didn't work out the first time? I know there's calls for where are the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube men. It's not going to be at this WrestleMania.
no,
It is going to be at the next one when she then takes this loss as a way for her to kind of find her way back.
Cody style. Finish the story.
Finish the story. So yeah, she that's the thing is yes, there have been obviously adversity in her way, but I feel like we've kind of ever since she had that big entry, she came back at not last year's SummerSlam, but the SummerSlam before that.
Yep.
This has been a new version of Bailey. This new version of Bailey needs to have this as the starting point to go okay, you know what? I wasn't good enough to cash into my dream here. I'm going to do it in the next one. You bet your ass. I'm coming. So,
yep.
And therefore she can kind of mold the character that she's made now and then take elements of her past and kind of create a new version of Bailey.
She can make amends for the past year and a half of beating the hell out of people.
Ultimately, it doesn't make sense for her to just flip a switch and go full hugger mode. There needs to be a new version of that's got a little bit more edge to it, but is still that version of Bailey that we all grew to know and love.
What she tweeted today kind of broke my heart.
No
due to scheduling, man. No Paramore.
But that's great.
Unless they're working me and they're gonna pop me.
But that's perfect.
On night 2 when Paramore comes on.
Just guess what? You know what? We're talking about how all this should build up to a Mania next year. Guess what? Hey Paramore, what are you doing next WrestleMania?
Let's book you now.
Book you right now.
Leave it open, please. And then LA Knight, AJ Styles, they fought at the presser today. Press event. I like it. It's something good for both. LA Knight's gonna go over. He's gonna, stand taller. Yeah. The whole stadium, 80,000. Yeah. It's one of those things, and AJ Styles doesn't need to win shit. And this is it's my dude. Yeah. This is Impact main event on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I think I wish this match would have had a stipulation because they should beating the shit out of each other. But we have one of those, I guess, later on this card already. So it's all right. I think it's going to be a fun little match. They're not going to get a ton of time. 15, 16 minutes, all they need.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be kind of basically, for all intents and purposes, it's a hey, don't forget about me match. It's like a kind of like the alternate to a heat check, right? Where we're not necessarily checking if they've got the heat. It's more just understand that we know how big, unlike what happened last year, where Vince clearly got his hands on that card and we didn't get LA Knight on that card.
Yeah.
In LA. That makes any fucking sense. This is a chance for LA Knight to really get that kind of WrestleMania mo. Because at some point he should probably be holding one of those mid-card titles. Should be US title or Intercontinental Championship, one of those at some point over the next year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. This is one that's he's too over. He has to be on this card.
Yep.
And who can we give him? AJ is always really fucking good. That's it.
Let's get some TNA chants going.
And AJ losing then brings in the possibilities of okay, maybe the Good Brothers maybe they got to crew up and be assholes together.
Right.
Listen, you lost. We went down to NXT. It ain't working for us anywhere else. Like, let's be assholes and be who we know we can be.
And then Trips introduces trios belts, and here we go. We're off to the race. No, I'm kidding.
More belts.
More belts. They do
Which
not have
plays
as big of a more belts problem as the other companies.
no, but it plays better into my all Latino faction because
Sure.
there's a million people
They
there.
could
Like
use trios belts for
they
sure.
they could really use something right there. And then we have, I'm not calling them that, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament.
Uh-huh.
I don't care.
This is the most nothing match on the card, right? I think we can all agree.
It is, the Final Testament has to win
The Final Testament has to win.
because
Cross has to
what
look
are
like
you
a million
doing?
bucks.
Yeah, Cross needs to get rid of the fucking hair. He's
He
way less
should.
menacing with the hair. It's the opposite of you. I'm always saying he has to get rid of the hair. I feel like you're growing the hair back. I appreciate this. You're doing it to pop me. You still got the baby face you play for the Yankees look, but when the beard comes back with the hair, it's going to be one hell of a combo. And now we're rolling. Now we're back. But the
Sorry,
beard,
I'm still lost on the Yankee statement because, like, yeah, I just shaved yesterday, and now I can't say anything to that. I can't say anything to that.
no, yeah, it's, you know why you did it. With the cat.
That is not
But
why I did it. It's because
no,
I'm
next
itchy, for God's sakes.
I'll see you like next week and the beard will be back. But the hair
Exactly.
looks great.
Final
Priest,
Testament.
yeah, Priest has to go. Final Testament. What we're doing with them in the following week, who the fuck knows?
Just give me the old Street Profits back. That's all I want.
That's it.
They were awesome. Like when we saw them in Vegas going against the Usos, they were.
Yeah, that's
That
a
shit rocked.
babyface faction.
Yeah,
Like, just let
you can't
them
have
rock.
evil. You can't have evil party cups
No,
falling from the sky.
But I will be one to say splitting the tag team titles up gives all the tag teams more opportunity and reason to have a better tag team division. So I have faith on that going forward, that we can get the Street Profits back in meaningful main event title matches. Because so far, tag teams have been in limbo because the champs haven't been defending them because they're all single stars. And between the Bloodline and then Cody and Jay having it for a point, and the Bloodline, and then Judgment Day, and then it's just.
Oh yeah, and the Usos
it's been tied up
forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tied up in a story for 2 years.
And then
And
the New Day, the New Day couldn't go against them anymore, and all that.
It sucks. So splitting these are going to be great. And then last match, Roman versus Cody, night 2. You have it, Bloodline rules. It's weird to have like that stipulation if you're not going to use it, like to tease it if you're not going to use it, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I think, to me, obviously, I picked Cody and Seth to win night 1. That's why you tease it, because every Roman match is Bloodline rules. This is an unspoken stipulation to his 3-year reign. Every match is this. You put it in there because for the first time, it is not that.
Would you say for the first time we are acknowledging it? Once.
1-on-1. That's what the match will be on Sunday. And Roman had to stand on his own too. And Cody was like, this is what I've been waiting for, because you can't beat me 1-on-1. If it's Bloodline rules, then we get a bunch of shenanigans. And then fuck if we get like John Cena and Stone Cold to come out.
Well, regardless,
give me shenanigans on night 1. Yo, I don't need that on night 2. Let them just have a match.
But it's a Roman match. So regardless if it's 1-on-1 or Bloodline rules, that's just a matter of if the ref should come to the ring wearing football pads. Like, because if it's a 1-on-1 match, that ref get knocked out.
Sure, but you automatically lose if there is interference, which is shitty way to end the match. So it's like,
if a ref sees it, the ref's going to be down. It's the same. Either way, at least in my scenario, Bloodline rules is active.
Yes. So you're getting shenanigans.
Because what I feel like is going to happen, and this is not necessarily indicative of what I want to see happen, but I do believe that this is where we'll see Rock turn on Roman. If it's Bloodline rules, is that like the Rock eventually, like at a key point in the match, seems like Cody's dead to rights and the Rock is there. Rock's about to rock bottom him, but then he turns to Roman and rock bottoms him and just leaves. Because then you set up Roman and Rock for later whether it's SummerSlam or next Mania, whenever you want to do it. Because at some point you have to go back to the fact that Cody brought Rock into this in the first place. Like, don't just retcon that and tell me that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it did happen. It was dumb when it happened. But you know what? If you want to redeem this moment for Rock, not necessarily for Cody, because I do believe it doesn't make Cody's, in a perfect scenario, Cody wins this one-on-one and it was the destruction of the bloodline, and like that's how he finishes his story. The fact of the matter is we're too far gone from that point, in my opinion, for that to just be simply the case. Cody's going to have to win with some shenanigans in place. I still don't think I don't think it's a case of like Roman does the rock bottom and then like Cody does crossroads and wins.
Yeah.
I think that should happen somewhere in the middle where like Rock betrays him, and then maybe Solo or Jimmy comes out and hits Rock. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Cody should still be up against the ropes at the point where Cody wins. You know, maybe they do the same. They mimic the same finish as last year where Solo hits Cody, and like that's like Cody's goes down, and then Roman goes for the pin and Cody kicks out and then hits a crossroads and wins. Like
Yeah.
build in the there's going to be shenanigans in this, whether we like it or not, because there's too many players at play that have been put into this. And the bloodline has not been destroyed. Right? We could have been working the whole summer towards that. We didn't. This is where we're at. So this is where I believe Rock turns on Roman and goes, yo, I've seen all those looks. You've been born at me. Understand this is my house. So that way you can have final boss versus, the head of the table.
It's just weird to me because it's like, Rock's not leaving as a heel. And that's kind of a heel thing to do, is to turn on another guy.
But not to turn on Roman to help Cody. If he's turning on Roman to help Cody, then he looks like the hero like he was the double agent all along. You know what I mean? Like Cody handshaked him, and he originally had nice things to say about his family. And then they started slapping each other. And also this builds in then you build in Raw after Mania kind of stuff where Seth can start going like, bro, was I just set up the whole time, dude? Did you just hang me out to dry? And then Seth can start beefing with Cody again, which I know we've already seen, but at least it gives you something to kind of start Cody's reign off. Like, I think
Cody got to take that belt back to SmackDown. And there's a bunch of new, fresh faces for him to feud with over there.
Right.
But that belt has to go where it is, because the heavyweight championship is kind of.
I think it honestly adds a nice wrinkle to Cody. Here's how I really kind of wish it would have been booked, is that like we almost have like the war with the bloodline. Like Cody starts gathering troops essentially on Raw to go at war with the bloodline, and they start taking down the bloodline pillar by pillar. And then by like the time that Cody gets the belt, they're like, yay, Cody wins. But then it's like a case of like Cody doesn't start really paying off like for everybody else that helped him. And then everyone else starts going like, well, wait a second, we just all helped you.
Yeah. Where's our shot?
Exactly. And then like that's how you can kind of start his reign off, right? Like that's how I would have ideally liked to start doing it. At least this way, with like the Rock turning on Roman in the second night, it builds in a seed of doubt to like where Cody is like, yes, he's the face, but you know what? He kind of connived a little bit with everybody.
Yep.
And you know what? Like Cody can start living in that tweener zone a little bit, because at the end of the day, he will be cheered no matter what.
I missed out on the whole last match, but yeah, sure.
Is there still? Oh yes. We'll get there. But yeah, I think Cody.
Yeah.
Cody can live in that tweener territory where he couldn't live in that in AEW.
I will say, no, Cody's gonna be white meat as white meat baby faces get, but
I think it starts out that way for sure.
The match that I missed is clearly my next feud for Cody, because it's Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, a SmackDown match where it's very possible Logan leaves with the belt. But I'm going to say Kevin Owens wins this title. Okay. Logan's done what he needs to do for it. I would like to see Kevin Owens win this title, personally. It gets a little weird. Dre picked Logan, and the only reason that makes sense is because SummerSlam's in Cleveland. And it's like, if you let him hold the belt going into Cleveland, like, it's kind of like the reason you're in Cleveland.
Right.
But I think he can have any match there and he's going to sell. Doesn't matter. Him being around this whole fucking time, like, and ask him to carry this for 3 more months is kind of tough. But I'd say Kevin Owens wins this. He can go on and defend this title, IC title, and have another, or the United States Championship, and have another good run with that. Randy Orton comes up short because Randy Orton doesn't need this belt in the United States Championship. Oh, but who is on SmackDown now as a new champion?
Sure.
And what is a feud that people have wanted for a very, very long time?
That's a
And to
SummerSlam match
establish
right there.
it, like a summertime feud with Cody and Randy would be great. And you
Especially
just plant
if
the seeds. Because I think Cody has to face Solo as his first challenge as champion, because Roman's not going to let it go. Roman would be off television, but he'll be like, Solo, I was done dirty. You go get that shit back. And
Right.
you deliver it to the tribal chief and whatever. So that's Backlash. Cody wins there. But then you get to Money in the Bank in July. Cody and Orton could have like their first match there, and then second match, SummerSlam, and you're good.
Makes sense too, because Roman, that would be a Roman thing to do, would be like send Solo after the belt, because he would almost go like, that belt right now, because of what The Rock did to me, means
Yep.
nothing. I have bloodline business to take care of. You have Cody
Go
business
get
to go
that.
take care of.
And just bring
You
it to
bring
me
it to me. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just relinquish it. Go win it for him. So I
Yeah.
think that's, and it's Backlash. So you
And
kind of have to go
also,
back on WrestleMania stuff. So
that gives like, I want to see Randy go back to being like old Randy Orton, like psychological
gives
heel.
like a month for him to really fuck around and
You know
like
what? Just like
get angsty.
figure out what Ted DiBiase Jr. is doing so he can be punted. Like, just figure it
Yep.
out. You know, like
It's one of those like, you had a story. Congrats. My story is chasing the most WWE titles ever. That's my story. I'm dangerously close to this. You're kind of in my way.
let me tell you
So
something about legacy. Yeah,
see, yes, like it's one of those things where he could say, I'm glad, but before you had a story, before people thought you could be here, I've done this 14 times.
right.
And being away for 2 years, there's never time to just wait. I don't have all the time in the world. And it could be okay, Money in the Bank. You helped me out. You were like my big bro, Randy. I'll give you a shot. Cody beats him. The beat down after that. Oh, you think you're gonna beat me and then we're gonna be chummy? Full punt kick,
Punt,
Randy Orton, just leaving
RKO
Cody
him to
just
doom.
just spread out, RKO on the table, leave Cody
Wait, are you
wrecked.
coming up with reasons for Cody to bleed?
Cody must bleed.
Cody must bleed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Randy just leaves him there, and now we get full heel Randy SummerSlam.
I would
Look,
be down. I would be down for
Cole,
full heel Randy. We
just
haven't
cut us
seen
the
full heel
check,
Randy.
Cole. We booked one person sting all the way out 3
We
years.
booked an
We're
entire
booking people.
faction.
Oh my
We
god, that's
booked the
three
Money in
year
the
booking
Bank.
a faction. Yeah,
We booked the Money in the Bank cash in.
just give us a check. That's all we need. We're
I
good. We'll
I
book it from
I
home.
I'm just saying. That certainly we go back to the cash in. I think that's my boldest weird hot take yet.
That's your best take.
And really,
That's your best take.
I
I
just
have
didn't.
to
I
see
think
this.
the only thing is I didn't intro it the way I should have, which was like the winner at the end of night one isn't in this match. That's really what I needed to start it with. But
That would be pure perfect Cole.
yeah,
The teasing of that, but no, I loved it. I love the booking. Glad we did this second show. It's long as hell. People are gonna enjoy it and listening to it. Today.
that's because we
It's
got
long.
weird. Like, but that's what like
That's what we're here for. Just to get weird.
because Dre's the smart one out of all of us.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like
But when we predict it correctly, Dre's gonna come back and be like, again, like
look, I'm just
it's
gonna
just
say, like, our track record. Look, anyone's track record of fantasy booking is gonna have a lot of zeros on it. It's like a batting average in baseball, right?
yep.
But you know what? We got a hit. In fact,
when we
we don't even
hit it
just
out
have a
of the
hit.
park.
We have a home run with
Yes.
Dom because you called that shit straight up.
And we're going to get it
Straight up.
again. Cole, I feel like you called night one just now,
I'm just
and
saying.
no one else has it.
I'm just saying if Damian Priest walks out at the end of night one or runs
Get
out
the
there
clip.
at the
Get the
end of night
clip
one,
ready.
I'm
Don't even,
going to take a lap around this freaking neighborhood.
I'm telling you this, don't even post the clip before. It lives on this show. It lives to everyone who listened to this or watched this.
And then the next morning,
When it hits, just have it ready. I'm going to post it at that exact moment. Told you so.
ready.
And at the end, I'll just leave us staring at the camera for a little bit. We'll put that at the end, and I just need you maniacally laughing. That's
Got
it. Clip that and put it at the end. Coale knows all. It is amazing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This one, hell of an episode, man. It's been great. It's always great to chop it up with producer Coale, baby. We are going to try to get, because we're going to watch Mania together anyway on the Zoom. We're going to try to get this shit on Discord. So everyone, Corner Club, everyone who is on there, if you're not at Mania, because several of our Corner Club members are, and talking about it in the Discord right now, FOMO has set in. Shout out to everyone sending videos and pictures and everything from Wale Mania and the indie shows and making me sad to be here at my crib, actually doing work, I guess. I love my new job, but, get me grounded for this weekend. Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons, damn. Yeah, no, it's great. But if you aren't there, join us on Discord. We'll be talking and chopping it up and talking to the whole thing. Pretty sure Big Mac, Ryan McKinnell, is going to come through my house too. So he'll be here. We'll be talking and everything. So it'll be fun, man. It's going to be great watching everything together. So we're going to try to set that up for you guys. Just keep your eyes out. I'll post on Patreon and what's going on and Twitter and all that good stuff. And we'll make it happen. So we appreciate you all. As always, keep it short and sweet. For myself, producer Coale, baby. Enjoy WrestleMania weekend. We'll be here next week to recap it all. Oh, man, I'll be back from Philly with some amazing new news. Everyone will know this by the time that happens as well. So it's fun. It's a good week. Till next time, we're out.
Cheesesteaks for everyone.